All right, it is 5 o'clock. We will go ahead and get started. Going to ask Councilmember Willis, do you mind doing the prayer?
Sorry, praying. No. Now will y'all join me?
Father God, we just come thanking you for this day. God, we thank you for all your blessings, Lord. Lord, we pray that you will be with us in this meeting, that we will make good, sound, and right decisions. We pray, oh God, that you will bless the families represented in this room. Bless our city workers, Lord. Bless all of our law enforcement, and God, just bless Odessa. In Jesus' name, amen.
Here's copies of the agenda in case anybody needs it. Okay, item 1, consider renewal of agreement with BBVA for depository services.
Joanne.
I heard BBVA.
Your favorite? Hey, my favorites.
The floor is yours.
The floor is mine. This is our bank depository services contract that was done in 2016 with a 2-year contract. What we have is 3 one-year options to renew, and this is our 2nd year renewal. We have is virtual cards that we've made a revenue of $95,000, and vendors paid 2 to 2.5% from them. And fees we have is anywhere between $32,000 to $35,000 this year. So we want to renew it for
So we
another year.
made 95 and it costs us about 32.
We've made 95,000 to date on the.
That sounds like a no-brainer. I knew we extend this. That's the first easy thing you brought us on dollars.
Any questions or anything? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Man, that was a nice one.
Oh,
Didn't cost us a dime, did it?
Council,
This
if I
next
could,
one's easy.
some of you know Joanne Samaniego. She's been with the city
34 years, almost
34
35.
years. And she's been in the purchasing department for quite a while, and we have recently promoted her to director of purchasing.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you,
Oh,
thank you.
man, that's great.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, the next one, consider accepting and appropriating donation funds from Bustin' for Badges.
Bustin' for Badges is a clay shoot that title sponsor is Pioneer Natural Resources, but there are tons of the other oil companies and Walmart here in Odessa get involved in, and they sponsor this fundraiser. And every year we get a check. The 4 major law enforcement entities in this area in the Permian Basin get those checks. It's us, Midland Police Department, Midland County Sheriff's Office, and Edgar County Sheriff's Office, and we get an equal cut. This year our cut was $100,000. And we asked that be
Awesome.
That is amazing.
And
Yes.
she, the progression of the program.
The progression, I believe, about 4 years ago is and don't hold me to these numbers. It's about 26,000. Then it went up to the mid-50s and mid-80s, and then this year it's
Keeps growing.
$100,000.
That's amazing.
That is
great.
Yes.
Now, this is used for vest.
This is used for anything that we need to use it for. We allocated most of these funds this year to help our bomb squad.
And Chief, just so you know, Chief shot 52 out of 100.
53 out of it. We didn't really need to mention all that. Because that's not great.
Yeah, I mean, so our police chief is just 53%?
Well, you know what's.
Come
on,
Chief. Please, Paul. Do not put that
Oh,
in
that's
the
okay,
paper.
that's okay.
All righty. Next one.
I did beat 2 of the other officials though, so, because we shot the sheriffs and the chiefs together, so.
And because you're a gentleman, you're not saying.
I
which
will
two.
not say yes.
All right, next one, consider applying for
Very good.
accepting and appropriating Project Safe Neighborhood Grant funds.
If you'll remember, maybe a month or so back, we brought this grant before you and you guys approved it. Basically what this grant is will allow us to buy equipment and software and that sort of thing, and also pay for some overtime to target those individuals that come into our community and commit violent crime. This is specifically to target violent crime, gun crime, sexual assaults, robberies, that sort of thing. The reason we had to bring it back is because the administrators approached us and wanted to add $15,000 to the award.
Sounds good.
Yes.
The administrators?
Yes.
Who?
It's the governor's office.
Can we match?
It's $165,000.
Yeah, I mean, I
It
don't think it
doesn't
requires,
require that.
It requires no match.
Okay.
Cash match.
but it's rare that they come back and have to.
Yeah,
Very
very
rare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
And this is a really good day so far.
No.
Thank you very much, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank
you,
you, sir.
But Cindy's coming up, so.
Item 4, discuss city ambulance and EMS compliance plan.
Tassi, I think you're gonna deal
I
with
think-
Guppy?
Yeah, I think billing and collections is gonna take this one.
It's a good pass.
Alright.
Guys, this is, if you don't know, this is Guppy Bernal. He's our director of billing and collections.
y'all doing?
Guppy, how are you?
Good, good. I know.
Very good right here.
Okay. I'd like to bring you some good tidings. Some good things are happening.
Good.
So, many years back, I had lunch with the fire chief from Allen, Texas. Then he told me about a program where we could recover money for ambulance services. So ever since then, we've been working on it. And I'm very happy to say that we are on the cusp of getting it done. Enough that it's here being presented to you, letting you know what's coming down the road. And what it does is it helps us recover the Medicare, Medicaid money that goes unpaid, and it's a federal program. But it required a lot of things that we had to do within our department, within the fire department, dispatch, a lot of compliance. So we've done it. We've got it far. We've got it in so far. We applied. We had the application. We applied back in February. They accepted it in March. So that was the first step forward. So the initial estimates from it was about.
Guppy, if you wouldn't mind, do you mind talking a little bit about the compliance plan and then how that federal grant money and fund relate to the compliance plan?
Yes. So the compliance plan, it first required a compliance officer that would oversee all of the billing and audit the billing purposes of the city. So we.
For ambulance.
For ambulance, specifically for ambulance. And they would audit some of the billing and make sure that everything's on the up and up and clear, and that all of our staff was clear as well, in order to be able to recover some of these federal funds. It's a federal program. So needless to say, it had a lot of red tape, a lot of hoops to jump through. It also required that we all became certified coders, certified compliance officers. So, as I said, it's very exciting because what it's done, it's really brought our ambulance program and made us an elite program within the United States, because we are far ahead of many other programs. It's just not collecting money and doing things. We are doing things by the book, which entitles us for more money, which is, I really get really excited talking about this, and as I told Mr. Marrero, is that I can't wait to be 3 or 4 months down the road and have this. I just got to be patient, day by day. Let it happen. But that was part of the compliance, and it required us to draft compliance language, which legal helped us with, and a compliance program in which we have to have a compliance committee and all of these things. It really did go into some detail. So this is some of the language that you're going to be seeing here in the near future, that you'll be approving, hopefully would approve. Okay. So there was this a group that was helping us, and it's called PCG, the Public Consulting Group. And this group in other states, they're part of the the group that establishes this compliance program. But in the state of Texas, they're not. In the state of Texas act as a consulting. In other states, they are the group that sets the program. So they have a deep insight to see on how the program works and so forth. One of the biggest changes that came about this year is that we no longer could just claim money that went unpaid. It had to really fall into a charity type basis, which required changing in our language and how we pursued this in our resolutions and in how we did business. Okay, so we had to change everything that we were doing. So this group helped us free of charge with the application process. And so one of the things is that I asked legal is this is a group that I would like to go with and to see if we could get them approved or what's the process or what have you. And they've come back and said, okay, listen, we can go ahead and hire them. They've met the criteria so that we could hire them. So that's one of the things that I'll also be asking is that we have a deadline of September 1st to get this going so we could start auditing and pulling all our records and getting that so that the PCG consulting, that group is something that I'll be asking for 1st of July. You'll be seeing this in City Council. As well as, we haven't done anything to our rates since 2010, March 2010, ambulance rates. So currently, we have some rates within our ambulance charges that don't even max out what we could ask for in Medicare and Medicaid. So we're still leaving money on the table as it is. So we're going to fix that at that level, and then the secondary level is to try to recover some of that money that doesn't get paid through Medicare or Medicaid.
So you're saying you're gonna increase the rate?
Yes, we're asking. And fire department at this point is looking for the ambulance, preparing the rate increases or the rate structure, the rate schedule.
You're saying for Medicaid and Medicare, are those the only rates that are gonna go up?
No, it has to be across the board.
the board.
I thought that, but the way you said it, okay.
Yes, it has to be across the board. And so there was some things that we've got a program, Lifeline program, that's in place now that helps some of our citizens, but even then, the program, we had to change, get really solid on our language there that Medicare, Medicaid recipients cannot participate.
Could you explain that Lifeline program?
The Lifeline program is an insurance that is offered by the fire department, and it's $59 to $69 a month.
A
A
year.
year. And $69 if we bill it
How
through
much
our.
again?
69.
16?
And it covers unlimited ambulance ride,
Wow.
much to my chagrin, but it does.
Maybe going that to.
But anyway, so some of these participants, we have to be very careful that they don't participate in this program. And it's a good program. Lifeline is a good program. It helps the citizens.
So Medicare and Medicaid would not be eligible, is that correct?
Yes.
For Lifeline?
Just
For Lifeline.
Just
Yeah,
Medicaid.
for Lifeline.
But they are now?
Yes.
Medicaid
No.
Yeah, but I
Yes.
don't think there are
or
too
Medicaid?
many of them, are they?
No. As a matter of fact, they're not allowed at this
I
point.
didn't think so.
Just
Medicaid.
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 Just
Okay,
Medicaid.
I was to say, I know Medicare is, because my stepdad was,
But the drum roll is that their estimate for recovery at this point is $1 million.
yeah. Wow, this is a good day.
It is an awesome day.
It just keeps
I am
getting
so
better in
excited.
this
I
room.
really am excited about this.
And that recovery is on the money that we're not currently.
That we're leaving on the table,
Yes,
basically.
we're
Right.
leaving.
Yeah.
That the federal government will pay us back.
It's under a grant program,
Yes.
Okay.
and that's why it involves all of the compliance stuff to be
We-
done.
we have to do things to the letter. We have to.
So you said it accepts Medicare, and under the new program, it's going to accept Medicare and Medicaid?
No, it won't. It
Okay,
will not.
just Medicare.
Yes.
Okay, so we're talking about elderly or disabled individuals when you say Medicare and
No,
things like
no,
this.
sir, no, sir, that's not necessarily true. There's other
People
people
over
that,
65 on
Yes.
Medicare that are not disabled.
yes.
Well, I'm saying elderly or disabled. is
Yes,
what I'm
that's
saying.
one of the things that we will have to be prepared for, is that there will be some
Huh?
collateral
65's not elderly.
people.
I'm
that-
sorry, Tom.
affected by
I'm
it.
sorry.
But it's not as heavy as you would think. The Lifeline program does cover a lot of that, a lot of those people that are outside these fringes.
So are you, I noticed that you have a compliance officer, or will have a compliance officer. Is that gonna be an additional employee in your
No,
division?
no. One of the things is that we already have a compliance officer. She just hasn't been named officially through a resolution or that will give us that permission to do it, but she's already certified as a compliance officer.
She
which
went through
is-
training to get that.
She's already been to the training.
I thought you said we had to have one of those per ambulance.
No,
No.
just one.
For the
Just one.
program.
Yeah,
For the program.
Okay.
And she was the main billing person for the ambulance service within the billing and collection department.
Right. So
And
it'll-
she's headed up a whole lot of the information that's had to be done for this.
I just appreciate the effort.
Man.
Going out and finding it.
That's
Wow.
great, and she did awesome. So she's a billing supervisor at this point. The only thing is that we'll be looking for is a certification paid for her. But I'll go through the compensation committee at that point, but, so we already have someone in mind, someone who's already, been certified. It's just a matter of going through the proper channels and getting things done, and this is why I'm bringing it to you guys.
So once we're in this program, Gabi, as long as this program exists, or do we have to be recertified every year? Once we're in it, are we in it and we just stay in compliance? Or every year do we have to get recertified?
No, we don't have to do anything to stay in the program, but yes, we would continue to have to be recertified, to maintain our certifications.
Right.
By sending in the but we don't, I shouldn't have said recertified, requalified.
No,
Once
no,
we're qualified as long as
they'll continue to
we-
do that work.
Wow, good for you, congratulations for finding, that's wonderful.
What federal department administers this?
Oh, what is it?
I didn't see them listed.
I guess the question is, do they then do an annual audit, a
They do.
biannual audit?
They will do audits, for the program. Whether we get audited or not, it's still up to them if we hit the lottery, you know.
Be random.
But, we feel very comfortable that we're doing everything right. Everything was done right as it was. They were really into, taking care of business.
How was the compliance committee selected? And do they have to be certified?
No. They don't have to be certified, but they have to be in compliance. And we've already ran the initial compliancy test against all of our employees. And I'm happy to say that everyone was okay. We didn't have any exclusions. So it'll be the fire chief
Right, I was gonna say, point out here.
or someone
They
within the
are.
fire department.
Okay.
And it's there, and
I think the EMS chief, the fire chief.
Assistant fire chief,
legal, yes,
director of billing and collection,
or whoever they,
or whoever
Yeah.
you
yes.
designate.
Yes.
It's fantastic. Any more questions?
The lead card up
Council, you'll see this at the first meeting in July.
Thank y'all very
Good
much.
job.
Thank you.
Wow,
Thank you.
great
Thank you.
job.
Start looking for some more.
Yes, sir, that's what we're here for. And I appreciate all of you. Good job.
And
Very
you
much.
said that you got this from a conference you went to, from a McAllen purchasing agent?
No, from the TML, I went to a TML conference and I had lunch, sat at the table with fire chief from Allen, Texas.
So that's a great networking example.
Yes. So he was really excited about all the money he had got for the city, so,
We're excited.
yeah, I understand.
Don't tell anyone else though.
It's very difficult. It's a lot of work and they really put a lot of hoops.
There's
You
a
have-
reason they do it that way.
And they
Yeah.
do it. So,
All right.
Congratulations.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much. Item 5, review of CIP projects and debt issuance. Ms. Munson.
Council, we.
Yeah,
we-
we are. Here comes
We
my
switch
wheel.
board, but, yeah, we need Michael.
We just wanted to bring this back because you will see it at the next council meeting. And we just wanted to confirm a few things with you. And talk a little bit, so.
We're not really investors.
No.
But we were on a nice
We
little
are.
high here.
You can't take it all in without spending some of it, so here we go.
There we go.
I'm bringing money in, it just has to be repaid. There's the difference.
That is true.
Okay, so, I passed around a packet. Basically, the top sheet has not changed since our last meeting. I kinda got the census from y'all that we had 4 kinda in favor of the 93 million. We had 1 at 88 and 2 at the 83 million. So, I have talked to our bond counsel and our financial manager, which is George Williford, that presented to y'all. And, so we have set it up for the 93 million. I guess I just need verification that that's the route that y'all want to go. If anything's changed since we kinda have that consensus. And let me go ahead with the rest of what I handed out. The second and third page is Philip had helped me put this together as far as some bullet points to talk to. We specifically left out, dollar amounts. The resolution itself will have the total dollar amount, and we will follow along the guidelines of what has been presented on page 1. But things change over time, and you could have a little bit of a variance in what you're paying, so you try not to tie down to your dollars to specifics when you do a CO issue, okay? So, there's that, and then the last page that I gave you is a new timetable of events based on, we take this to council for vote on June 25th, and the vote is to consider a resolution authorizing notice of intent to issue certificates of obligation. Okay, and then following that, we will do publication within the newspaper, 2 different back-to-back publications, and then we will proceed with all the background information we have to do with the preliminary official statement, our rating agency calls, and their evaluations before we actually close on the actual sale of the issuance. Okay. We had some discussion at the last meeting regarding how we wanted to publicize this to our citizens. Something along this lines could be included with the actual notice, although that's gonna cost us quite a bit of money because we get charged by the word.
By the word.
By the word. But this is talking points that y'all can use. It's something, we asked legal to look at what all we could do with this, because the issuance of the COs is not a vote by the citizenry, it's just a vote by the council members.
But
Okay?
we want our citizens to understand why.
Why? And that's what we did with the fact sheet. And, if y'all have changes that we need to make to this, we can do that. And go forward, we can post this on our website. It is something that you can talk from. I don't know how much you would want to actually do, commercials or anything like that. That's probably not something that legal is suggesting that we do, but.
That would be pretty expensive also to do.
Well,
I
it's
don't
not that
know
much
whether-
as,
I think we could talk to Pat or Delora at the newspaper and see if they would be willing to do some PSAs, because, and I think we should put those PSAs on our website too. And I don't know if each of us do a little 15-second PSA about one of these topics, because we need to be on social media, it needs to be on our Facebook, it needs to be on our website.
We have the capacity to do video and post video, so that's certainly something.
And I think
That would be a good
people
idea.
need to see
Yeah.
it and need to hear us. I'd like a little bit more, I'd like a few more zingers in this, in terms of, our fire department, they were talking about how many calls they get, I noticed that the animal shelter is not in here.
Yeah.
yes, it is.
Is it?
Yeah,
Not
it's
just
right there.
listed?
Police department.
Police
Oh,
department.
okay.
It's the
So
second.
there it is. So I think in that, we need, what they tell us, they're getting $675 pets a month. I think there need to be a few things that we're
Numbers.
leaving with people that say, our firemen are doing this many calls a month. Those things that we've just gone, whoa.
Well, they're running more, they have more runs than the city of Lubbock,
Response.
Yeah.
which has 16 stations, and we have 8.
Right, that kind of thing. And so people go, okay, I see we need this.
Our insurance, our fire insurance, homeowners insurance is all based on our rating. If we can reduce or maintain our rating, that affects everybody's homeowners insurance,
And that's on run times.
and it's on run times.
And so, just, this is great information, but just a few little zingers, and
Yep.
then
Tell them why.
Okay, yes, sir.
I've been
I've
sitting
ordered books for
late.
everybody, but I still haven't got them, so as soon as I get them, they're here. Well, I think especially on the road projects, you need just a little one page that says this, just as,
Since we haven't had a public information officer, we haven't been paying one, don't we have a little bit of money for a month or two that we could actually pay? Because they'd probably give us PSAs, usually they're more responsive. Paul, tell me if I'm wrong, but usually they're more willing to give you if you're buying some. I don't know if you know that.
I don't really
but-
know, it's a.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't
But-
let me know that.
they don't take that out of the bill.
In that case, let us prepare a schedule, and maybe reach out to you on times, and I don't know if you guys wanna tell me which topic you're most comfortable with, we can then set up a time to video you.
Well, and I think that more than one of us could talk about this, I think as many as you're willing to do, and they could just rotate them, so every time I come up, or every time you come, it could be about any one of these
Yeah.
issues. What about town hall meetings?
We certainly have the ability to set those up, if that's what the council would like to do.
I'd like to do a town hall in each district to talk about it personally. I don't know if you guys think they're effective or people come, but I think it's a lot harder for people to complain if they've been given the opportunity to ask questions.
That's true,
If they don't come and ask questions, that took the onus off of us.
that's true.
Whether you do what they want to do or not, you need to give them a chance to give feedback.
So-
And then what you will be providing is, again, strictly informational, so they'll have
Right.
information.
Right.
Yeah, I
Do
mean,
we
you
have time to
can,
do one in each?
Yeah, base your own opinion as
It's
to,
just purely information.
it's purely information, you have to stick
Oh,
with
my.
facts in order to.
You might put, at least for the next 2 council meetings, just put a time to
talk.
If it's not on there, you can't talk about it.
Right, because, and I am not opposed to that at all, but our timeline is pretty short.
That's what I was asking.
Yeah,
Do we have
and-
time
but
to
if
get to
we-
each district?
If we
A
had,
timeline.
even if we set it up for here, to
We
where
could-
we make it very
You could set aside
public.
time in the agenda to discuss this topic, yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
and to see if anyone wants to come in. I mean, I know that's not as convenient, but,
I'd still like to do the towns, if they're just, if we do them, you know, 5 nights or some, you know, I mean, we've got some nights in here. I think it's.
we do.
It's real, I mean, I know it's difficult, and I know people are out of town for the summer, but I just really feel like this is something that, especially after Senate Bill 2. You know, I was at lunch today with some people that said, oh, the governor passed that, and the property taxes can't go up. And I said, well, that means you've capped what we can pay public, you know, the same arguments we do. But people need to understand this, and we need, you said you could take the projected value and you could give us an idea of what this impact would be on our property taxes, right? Because it's not gonna be as much as the debt because the property values go up, right?
Yes, but some of that information is not available to us until the middle to late July, because we get that from the appraisal districts.
So, I mean, you know, when you're talking about people about this, they're gonna ask you what it does to their property tax. If it's in city council or where it is, they're gonna ask. And it isn't as much as I thought it was, cause I was just taking what he had said and adding it on, and Cindy made me aware that no, you still gotta factor the increase in the property values, so. I mean, I don't think it has to be an exact, but it needs to have, you know, the range is gonna be, you know, an average of 3 cents or something.
So there's no question, we need to make sure we get the citizens the information. Citizens, again, that's the only way you can get their input, and if there's enough opposition, I think the law requires about 5%.
5%.
Yeah, and then that would then stop the process from going further.
What else?
Okay, so we will, just to make sure I get it straight in my head, we're gonna try and get as many opportunities as we can, just to have time for the public to come in at the city council and comment on the debt issuance. And you want us to, look for opportunities to schedule town hall meetings, is that correct?
I do, I mean, I don't know if everybody feels that way. I guess, and if you don't feel like they need it, then you wouldn't, I don't think anybody should feel like they're obligated to be there in those.
Well, I do, and I think if we, you know, offer it in one, we need to be fair and make sure that the whole city is covered. We just need to be mindful of the
timeline.
timeline that we have here.
So that timeline, Cindy, those meetings could be what? Scheduled from, I mean, it's been in the paper now, so people are, there's already a buzz about it, but we could set those up. We need to have those done between July 8th and August 13th, is that right? Is that kind of the timeline?
Yes. Yeah,
And probably the
Or before.
earlier the
probably
better.
earlier than
Yeah.
that. if not, the
Say
first-
August 2nd? Okay.
Is August 2nd good?
Or do we need to go sooner?
Or July
Because we've gotta
8th till
start
July
making phone calls
30th,
and-
does
Yeah,
that give,
maybe that's a better time.
what, to be through at the end of July?
Great. Staff will look into that.
Okay, so, for the agenda item, I will have a resolution, so, we're to go forward with the resolution with the intent to issue at next Tuesday's meeting and the amount of 93 million. Is that correct with everyone?
Very good.
Yes, ma'am.
And we are working currently with the bond council on the wording for the resolution.
Yes,
So as soon as
they
we get
actually draft that for us, and so,
As soon as we get that finalized, we will get it to you.
Okay.
And can I, have permission to call the editor and the publisher and see what they might be willing to do in terms of PSAs?
I
I
believe you
think you
should
have
be
to
fine.
wait until this is approved by the council next Tuesday.
Okay.
Since we have not taken action yet, we need to wait till action is taken.
Okay, any other
There was,
questions?
there was a preliminary revenue number on a tax evaluation, I mean, it was,
You've given us a
italicized,
preliminary number of what the value was. We asked you this a couple
The
of
9 billion? Yeah,
Isn't that right? I mean, but that's not,
and that's
no,
preliminary, yes.
you know, I'll just speak this, I don't know. I have a hard time with not knowing what the effect's gonna be. I know what we need, but we need $191 million. All we're able to do is 93. So I think that somehow needs to be disclosed accordingly also. That identified from within was $191 million of needs that we're only able to look at 93, and we really don't know what the effect is on the public as far as the tax
But
implications.
we really can get an estimate.
And it is truly an estimate. I mean, they're going through a lot of hearings right now at the appraisal district on values and stuff.
Okay, any
Thank
other
you.
questions? Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you.
Item 6, discuss appropriations for funds for the convention center.
Council, this is just a reminder, we had this discussion last week, we are also preparing that agenda item. What we're waiting on is the finalized language from to finalize the contract for that final change order. But just as a quick reminder, you will be amending the FY19 budget. We will, the council has already, again, set aside 1.5, of which 500,000 has already been transferred. So the resolution you will see next week will be a resolution to appropriate $3,061,755 in order to complete that project, and those funds again will come out of the hotel motel fund.
And that's gonna leave us, based on your projections, just based on the budget and the revenue today, that's gonna leave us about 5 million in hotel monies, right, Cindy?
We have a spreadsheet for you guys if you want to look at it.
But
We had 7 million projected for another 4 million for expenses. Is that
without, this spreadsheet is done based on 531 numbers. Now, we expect additional.
right? You got another
We've got 3 months, don't we?
We still have a few more months, so this 4.1, remaining available cash, does not it includes the expenditures that have been budgeted to be paid out to the agencies. It does not include the next 3 months' revenues. Okay. So we do expect to get additional revenue, so this number will increase. But this was just to show you the fact,
That there's
you know, at that point in time.
So at 531, we had 8,745,000.
Yes.
And then the next 3 lines are what we're projecting after 531 before the year end.
Yes.
And that nets out to another 4 million.
That a remaining balance of 4.1 million. And then we will have additional revenues for the remaining, well, it'd be 4 months, June, July, August, September.
Cindy, do you remember, when does the UTPB contract end? You know, for the football stuff? Out of hotel
I
motel?
think,
One more year?
Can't remember.
No, it's
I
5.
thought
It
this was
five.
this year,
It may be.
the last year, I believe.
Yeah.
It is, because they're requesting a new, I
Contract.
remember she came and talked to us,
That's right.
yeah. They
Okay.
they submitted a new application.
There's things we can talk about for that.
So, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to belabor this, I'm just trying to be sure I understand.
Okay.
So,
The 8.7
down,
is
yeah, down in
cash.
the left. And
Yes.
so we're saying what we know right now, what we have right now, And after we pay out the 3.5 million,
Yes.
we will have 4,162,000 left right now, and we are projecting that by the end of the year, the end of our fiscal year, that would be increased by another $4 million.
Probably not. What you're looking at over here is based on a 531 period too. This is just revenues and expenses for the period. Is that what you're looking at, the 4149001 Wi-Fi? That is just our revenues to date, less our expenditures to date. So
Okay,
that number does not coordinate with the number that's down here in the bottom left.
okay, so what is the number that the 4,162,000 is projected to go up for over the next 4
4
months? Uh-huh.
Well, to date, we've received 5,000,009 over 7 months. So about 6 million over 7 months. So take that, divide it out, that's about,
About $1 million a month.
yeah, no,
900.
yeah, 900,000 a month.
So something, 3.5 million more
Possibly, yeah.
possibly in addition. I'm not trying to spend it yet,
Yeah.
but it is monies that we're gonna have to spend to pay some of this debt.
Now, this is hotel motel.
No.
Oh, no, that's
You
right,
cannot
hotel
use
market,
any of
yes,
the
sales
funds.
tax, sorry,
Okay.
okay. Yeah, my mind drifted.
Okay, any more questions? All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes, we are now adjourned.